BSc Honours Zoology from Dean Gandhi College from University of Delhi. Right now I'm pursuing B.Ed from GGS University, New Delhi. I'm a teacher at Self-Employed and also a content creator. I have experience of more than 5 years in the teaching field as a home tutor, as a science faculty at till secondary level, and right now I'm running my own classes, as you can see here, Devyani classes. See. So let's move on to our lecture today. This is the book of biology of class 11th. I recommend you all that you all should have or should keep a book, a hard copy or a soft copy of the book as per your convenience. We'll be starting from unit 2, and the chapter we are taking today is animal tissues. So the name of the unit is structural organization in plants and animals. As you can see, it is written here. Okay. What are animal tissues? Since we all know that cells combine together to form a particular type of tissue, and that tissue later on forms an organ system, and then an organism is formed. Or more specifically saying, cells combine together, they form a tissue, that tissue forms the organ, that organ forms an organ system, and then eventually an organism is formed. So this is the hierarchy which we are learning from our class 8, right? So this is a simple thing which I have told you right now. So let's read out what is being written over here. So in a complex multicellular organisms, all functions like your digestion, respiration, reproduction, these all are nothing but these are the life processes which are carrying out in your body daily. Obviously, not daily, I will say every time they are going on in your body. So we keep on respiring, we digest our food, right? We actually automatically it happens inside our body. So these are the different life processes which are related to us. And obviously, we can't say this thing that only one type of cell is responsible for carrying out these all processes, right? हम ये तो नहीं कह सकते कि सिर्फ एक ही तरीके की सेल जो है सारे processes को करा रही है. So talking about in this lecture we'll be speaking in English and Hindi also, so that the ratio of the people who are watching, who are going to watch this video, may be able to understand it more easily, right? So we'll be talking about in English, I would say, right? So it will be a more interactive session. If you have any doubt, if you have any query, you can write it in the comment section, and I will definitely reply to them as soon as possible. Okay. So as we have seen here, so different groups of cells are arranged, right, and they form a tissue. They are arranged in a well organized manner, and then eventually they form a tissue. Such a group of similar cells along with intercellular substances performing a specific function constitute a tissue. Obviously we know that each and every single cell inside our body which belongs to a different system, maybe it belongs to a respiratory system, maybe it belongs to a digestive system, maybe it belongs to a nervous system, they all are responsible to carry out a different function, to carry out a particular function, right? So जो भी एक सेल होती है उसका जो शेप एंड साइज होता है वो उस तरीके से डिजाइन होता है जो उसके फंक्शन को बाद में रिकॉग्नाइज कराने में उसकी हेल्प कर रहा होता है, राइट? इन योर 9th क्लास इन द चैप्टर सेल यू हैव लर्न दिस थिंग कि सेल का साइज एंड शेप रिस्पॉन्सिबल होता है उसके फंक्शन को डिफाइन करवाने में, राइट? हमने ये बात पढ़ी है पहले भी, so हमें बेसिक्स याद होने चाहिए. Okay, let's move on. So the study of tissues is called histology, right? We should know this thing. The students who are preparing for NEET or who are going to obviously to sit in their board examinations and all these things, so उन सबको ये पता ही होना चाहिए that what is the study of tissue, right? This is histology. This is an important question which has come in NEET also in the previous years. Marcelo Malpighi is also known as founder of histology, and Bishop is considered as father of histology. So we, as a student and even as a teacher, obviously as a learner, we all should know these basic things. Who is the father of histology? What is histology? And who has founded it also? किसने उसको ढूंढा था? किसने उसके बारे में पता लगाया था? Simply अगर हम हिंदी में बोले तो. Then we'll talk about origin of tissues. Early in development of an embryo, as you all know, the zygote formed when fertilization takes place. The male and the female gamete fuse together. The fertilization takes place, and eventually a diploid zygote is formed. धीरे धीरे जाके stages develop होती हैं, cleavage होती है, and cleavage, as you all know, is different from mitosis. Just keep this thing in your mind. cleavage is different from meiosis. And in which terms it is different, we'll see it in our later sections also. So then the early development in embryo, the cells become specialized, they differentiate themselves. Differentiation का meaning ये है कि वो अपने आप को specialize कर लेते हैं into three fundamental germ layers, right? Three fundamental germ layers कौन सी हैं? We have endoderm, we have mesoderm, we have ectoderm. So these germ layers, in turn, what they do? These germ layers are actually responsible to differentiate into distinct cell types and tissues that are characteristics of the vertebrate body. We will see that what endoderm, what the system, ऐसा कौन सा बॉडी का हमारा पार्ट है जो हमारी बॉडी का सिस्टम है जो एंडोडर्म से बनता है, कुछ पोर्शन है जो मेसोडर्म से बनता है, कुछ पोर्शन होता है जो हमारा एक्टोडर्म से बनता है. ठीक है. सो फॉर गिविंग एन एग्जांपल, एज यू कैन सी एक्टोडर्म मीन्स जो बाहर की तरफ है, राइट? So to your skin, that is obviously on your outside of the body, you can see your skin that is also formed through this ectoderm layer. Okay, so these three are known as germ layers. It is important to know this thing. Okay, so I will mark this thing. Three germ layers: endoderm, mesoderm, and ectoderm. Right? Endoderm, mesoderm, and ectoderm. Okay, next. What are the types of tissues in our body? Animal tissues की जब हम बात कर रहे हैं, तो four typical type of tissues in our body are mainly connective tissue, epithelial tissue, muscle tissue, and nervous tissue. Always make a habit of learning things by making them simpler. Nothing is impossible, only you have to make it simple, right? मुश्किल चीज तब तक ही लगती है जब तक हम उसको आसान नहीं बना लेते, right? So you can remember this is as NEMC, that is nervous tissue, epithelial tissue, muscle tissue, and then connective tissue. Here we can learn a question also, that which tissue, or I can give you this homework also, which tissue is the most abundantly present inside our body, right? This is very easy question. I hope आप सबको इसका आंसर पता ही होगा. तो कौन सा ऐसा टिश्यू है जो बहुत ज़्यादा ही अबंडेंट में हमारी बॉडी में प्रेजेंट है? ठीक है. So telling you it is connective tissue. This is also an important question which has been asked in the previous years also, right? Okay. So this was how I have taken the content from your biology book. This is line to line topic. But the content given about animal tissues, their introduction, what is histology, what are the three germ layers, right? What are the four types of four types of animal tissues? The principal kinds you talk about NEMC, that is nervous tissue, epithelial tissue, muscle tissue, and connective tissue. Okay. So this I have prepared, right? So you can see I have made them more easier for you so that you will be able to learn them or retain them, right? So the study of tissue is histology. We know that, we have learned this thing. Founder of histology is Marcelo Paiji. We have learned this. Father of histology is Bishop. And we have also learned this zygote, the 2N zygote of the diploid zygote forms into morula, the mulberry stage, then blastula, then gastrula, and eventually gastrulation is the process where the endoderm, mesoderm, and the ectoderm, three germ layers, get formed in the early stages of embryo. Okay. Germ layers in turn differentiate into distinct cell types and tissues that are characteristics of vertebrate body. This I have told you earlier. Types of tissue we have discussed. Okay, so which tissue develops first in the embryo? This is also a question. You can learn it from here. That is epithelial tissue. Right? Tissue level of organization is seen in which phylum? सबसे पहले जो टिश्यू लेवल ऑफ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन देखी गई थी वो नाइटेरियन फाइलम में देखी गई थी, और we can हम salient traits भी बोल सकते हैं. They actually lack connective tissue, don't have connective tissue. For example, in Hydra you can see this. This is also Nigerian, and jellyfish also, right? Okay. So these are some of the important points which I have mentioned. Let me change the color of the pen. Okay. So this is origin, and this is the name of the tissue. Epithelial tissue develops, or the origin is ectoderm, mesoderm, and the endoderm. This mesoderm actually forms a coelom epithelium, right? That muscular tissue is made from the mesoderm, and that M से M आप याद रख सकते हो. Muscle stores glycogen in large amount. This is the another basic information which I have mentioned here. Connective tissue is also formed because of mesoderm layer, and the nervous tissue is formed from ectodermal layer. As you can see, सबसे पहले जो टिश्यू की डेवलपमेंट होती है, जो सिस्टम हमारी एम्ब्रियो में डेवलप होता है, बनता है, दैट इज अ नर्वस टिश्यू, नर्वस सिस्टम, एंड द लास्ट सिस्टम व्हिच डेवलप्स इन एन एम्ब्रियो इज रेस्पिरेटरी सिस्टम. एंड दैट्स व्हाई आपको पता होगा ये चीज, व्हेन अ न्यू बेबी इज बोर्न, तो समटाइम्स वो प्रीमेच्योर जब बोर्न हो जाते हैं तो दे आर केप्ट इन एन इंक्यूबेशन. क्यों रखा जाता है उनको इंक्यूबेशन में? उनको इसलिए रखा जाता है so that they will be able to, कि उनका जो रेस्पिरेटरी सिस्टम अभी अंडर डेवलप्ड है, थोड़ा बहुत अच्छे से डेवलप हो जाए, क्योंकि उनको ऑक्सीजन की कमी होती है, इजीली रिस्पायर नहीं कर पा रहे होते हैं, राइट? तो दैट इज द रीजन. सो रेस्पिरेटरी सिस्टम लास्ट डेवलप होता है, नर्वस सिस्टम पहले डेवलप होता है, सबसे पहले डेवलप होता है. ओके, in detail we'll start talking about neural tissue here, right? Okay, so simple knowledge or a simple thing which I am going to tell you about, tell you about here is neurons and muscle cells. The neurons and the muscle cells are the cells which do not divide. Okay, they are non-dividing cells, they do not divide. न्यूरल टिश्यू में जब हम बात कर रहे हैं नर्व सेल की, ऑब्वियसली सबसे लॉन्गेस्ट सेल होती है, एक्टोडर्म से बनती है, ठीक है. और अगर आपसे पूछ लिया जाए लार्जेस्ट सेल कौन सी है, दैट इज ओवम. आपसे पूछ लिया जाए स्मॉलेस्ट सेल कौन सी है, दैट इज स्पर्म. दीज आर द सिंपल बेसिक क्वेश्चंस व्हिच वी शुड नो. डेफिनेटली ये हमें पता ही होना चाहिए. नेक्स्ट, okay, so microgliocytes. Which are microgliocytes? These are the glial cells which actually derive from or the arise from the mesoderm, okay, um, which is one of our germ layer. The special properties of neural tissue is excitability, means it has the ability to initiate nerve impulses. As we all know कि nerve impulses की form में messages generation कौन करवाता है? Neurons करवाते हैं, right? In response to any stimuli. Then conductivity, they have the ability, right? They can transmit a nerve impulse from one nerve cell to another nerve cell with the help of synapses. This you must be familiar about. नहीं भी हो तो we will study about it. So there is a potential change in a membrane of a nerve cell, and that is what is responsible for a transmission of a nerve impulse. We'll see it in detail later in later classes. Then we have neural tissue. In this we have neurons, types of cells, and then we have glial cells. What is the function of these cells? Let's see. Neurons are the cells which, or the nerve cell, they are the one which carry the nerve impulses. Glial cells basically support, protect, and give nutrition to the neurons, simply, right? So neurons are the cells which do not divide, but glial cells are the cells which actually divide. See, I have star marked here already, so you should know this. This is the longest cell in the body, around 1 meter long, and it is 8 to 10 times more in number. So the glial cells are more in number, but the longest cell in the body is neuron only. Okay. Next, neurons, structure and functional unit of nervous tissue, that we know. Then we have multipolar neurons, we have bipolar neurons. We'll talk about this also. So the part of neuron is divided as cell body, which is also known as cytone, which is also known as soma, which is and yes, so three different names of a same thing. Then we have cell processes, which are also known as neurites, that are divided as dendrites and axons, right? So in a simple diagram, as you can see here, so since I have drawn it with a pen, but I will recommend you always draw a diagram with a pencil, not with a pen. Okay. So this is a cell body. Okay, these are dendrites which I'm drawing here, and this is a nucleus, and then this is an axon, right? These are the synaptic nodes, terminal ends which represent होते हैं. You'll see the diagram also, don't worry. Okay. Now, the question comes in your exam that what is the most sensitive part in a neuron, right? Which is the most sensitive part in a neuron? That is axon hillock, right? So just remember this thing, from where your cell body is attached to this tube-like structure, that is axon, and this particular region from where they are attached with one another, that is a very sensitive part, sensitive region, and that is known as axon hillock, right? This is known as axon hillock. These are the dendrites, or we can say the spines, dendritic spines. Axon is long because it has lowest threshold. That's why it is the most sensitive part. Actually, the origination of the nerve impulse takes place from this place only. That is axon hillock. So motor neuron has many processes, cytoplasmic extensions जिन्हें हम बोलते हैं, they are known as dendrites, which I have told you earlier, which enter a large gray cell body at one end. A single process called axon, which I have uh, seen, मतलब मैंने पीछे आपको दिखाया था, it leaves at the other end, extending towards the dendrites of the next neuron, or to the form a motor end plate in a muscle. Right? Dendrites बहुत छोटे होते हैं, divided होते हैं, and their further extensions भी होती हैं. So let's see a simple diagram of this neuron, and it will be more clear to you. See. So this is the cell body. This is the nucleus, as you can see. This is the nucleus. This is axon. This whole structure, tube-like structure, is axon, and the region from where they both are joining or the starting, that is axon hillock, and it is the most sensitive part. This is cell body. These are dendrites. These are the nodes of Renwier. This particular gaps which you are able to see, they are nodes of Renwier. These are Schwann cells which are responsible for the formation of myelin sheath. As you can see, myelin sheath. The outer covering of this is known as myelin sheath, right? And these are nothing but these are the axon terminals, knob-like structures here, right? So I hope this basic information is understandable to you and you are able to recognize what we are going to do in detail in the next lectures, and I